every Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. right here on your family station, Love 101 FM. I am your co-host, Kevin Bailey, and this is going to be a great time. We want to acknowledge our sponsor, Fast Switch Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people. And they have been good to us as we challenge, encourage, and empower our men. Courtney, what's up, dude?
Hey Kev, good afternoon everyone. Welcome to the program, The Mailbox. We're live here on Facebook and YouTube as well. And we have been looking at Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We've been looking at Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And today we'll be looking at Lupus Awareness as well. And I noticed it's in bright purple. With us today, we have two special guests, and today's topic is Living with Lupus, the male patient's story. Ethan Mccoy, a electrician and a lupus patient, over 30 years, is with us, and today we'll be getting the rundown from him. Who's our other guest, Kev?
Definitely, we have Raymar Lee, freelance web developer and graphic designer, and he has been a lupus patient for the last 12 years. Raymar, are you there?
Hi, Kevin. Nice to meet you. Nice to be here as well, Courtney.
Hey, Sir Lee, it's good to see you. Good to know you're here with us.
And
Is Ethan McCoy is with us today as well. It seems as if he's not here as yet, but we'll just await his arrival. Today's program is viewed live on Facebook and YouTube, and we want you to invite persons to come now and view, as we also are aired live over Love 101 FM, the family station. And indeed, it's a time that we look into the business of lupus. What is it? What causes it? Remember, men, you can give us a call at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Ladies, remember, we're loving a whole heap, yet we're asking you to comment via Facebook and YouTube or via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number is 876-997-3125. And so we want the men to call in 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. And our women, the WhatsApp number 876-997-3125. Kev, how the weekend go? How was your weekend, Mr. Bailey?
uh, it has been a the weekend was very, very interesting. I had the privilege of speaking at a camp in Cobbler, at in Manchester. Cana Gospel Chapel had their weekend camp, and in association with Inner City for Christ, Bishop Errol Henry and others. Can you imagine? We had 120 campers, 75 young men, and 45 females. It's a long time I haven't been to a camp and see so many young men. It was just an amazing time. Courtney, the first day of chapel, 16 men came forward to surrender to the Lord. It was an amazing weekend. So we give thanks.
Sounds very great. 75 men, 44 women. I had the privilege. It was Heritage Weekend, Heroes Weekend. We want to continue to extend our congratulations to all those who receive awards on National Heroes Day. Indeed, it was a great pageantry, the colors, the excitement, and I can imagine the honor and the privilege that those who receive orders and their family members, you know, we're just delighted to share in them. Here in Portmore, at the Portmore Holiness Church, where Bishop Alvin Bailey, the JCDC, put on a Heritage Sunday morning for Portmore, right here. The Reverend Dr. Clara Marshall, who is the president of the Portmore Ministers Fraternal, was present. But both of us represented for the Portmore's Minister Paternal. It was a good morning, and so we enjoyed it. The first and second runners up for St. Catherine, along with the Festival Queen for St. Catherine, were well represented there. It was a good time.
Sounds very, very interesting. I want to give a shout out to Mrs. Esther Tyson, receiving her national awards. She's also a board member of Family Life Ministries, but many of us know as an educator, Arden High School, among other schools. But well deserved. Big up to her husband, Royal Tyson, and their family and friends. Very proud of Esther Tyson for receiving that national award, Courtney.
Excellent. We believe the selection committee did an excellent job and continues to do one over the years. And so we say thanks for honoring our own in such a time as this, or such a time as this. It has been excellent. We want to give the men a shout out as usual at this time. Man
Of
and
course.
man, we want you to know that we appreciate you, we love you. We want to continue to encourage you to indeed walk and walk good. So after three, we're going to shout out. Rema, you may shout out with us. We give a big shout out and shout out Monday. You understand? So after three, let's give that big shout out. One, two, three. Monday!
Monday,
Monday!
Monday.
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, man, in the place, of course, and we're very, very happy to have Raymar Lee in the place to share with us on an important subject. We also will be joined by Ethan McCoy as well, hoping that he will join us. As to say, great to have you from Warren Point to Negril. This is the mailbox. It's the 5:30 p.m. on Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people. And I want to remind you, we're talking about living with lupus, the male patient story. Many times we think it's only females who have these challenges, but just wanted to know men are human beings and prone to many of these challenges as well. So our guest will be Ethan McCoy, lupus patient for over 30 years, and Ray Marley, lupus patient for 12 years. Courtney.
Yes, in this section, we entitled it The Draft, the direct response for the featured theme. And we'll be getting to learn a little bit more about Remar. And as Ethan continues to experience a bit of technical difficulty, we're hoping we'll have him on as well. And so we want to actually just find out, as we said, this is Lupus Awareness Month as well. So many things that we are becoming more aware of in this month of October. And we want to highlight them and we want to speak about them. Lupus is that focus. Now, Remar, the question is yours. What is lupus? And what does a working day in your life look like?
Okay, to answer that question to begin with, what is lupus? It is an autoimmune disease. So what that means is it affects your immune system actually, and the impacts are rather negative. So it has the ability, the most common lupus is SLE, which is systematic lupus erythematosus. It's a mouthful, but we've gotten used to it. So there's that. In terms of a work day for me, now at this stage in my lupus, I'm more content with my everyday life. So it is a case where things are, I would say, back to normal. But in the initial stages, when I was first diagnosed and a few years to begin with, it was very difficult, close to terrible. I spent most of my time in and out of the hospitals, uh, taking medication. It affected school life. It affected everything basically. It's like it replaces, or it tries to replace who you're supposed to be, what you're supposed to do as a regular person. But as of right now, I would say I'm at a stage where I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good. Every day and work life is back to normal. for the most part, and I'm doing well. Love being here.
Happy to
Wow.
hear you're
Thank
at
you.
that place
Yeah.
Thank you.
where you are with that, Raymar.
Yes,
It seems as
Remar.
if Ethan McCoy has also joined us now. Ethan, are you there? Good afternoon. It doesn't seem as if he's here with us. So, Raymar,
Yes.
take us back to that first day you found out you were diagnosed with lupus. What were you experiencing leading up to the diagnosis? Tell us a bit about that first time hearing that this is what you have, this autoimmune disease.
Okay. So the first instance, I will begin with what triggered
Yeah.
us finding out it was lupus. So I was at home with my mom and another neighbor actually, and we were there. He was a teenage moment person. We were there watching TV, having a good time and so forth. But at one point, I was sitting beside my mother, and she was looking at my legs, and she was like, "Your legs are a bit fat." And I'm not really used to that. And I'm like, no, that's quite fine. I'm a teenager. It's probably because I'm eating a lot. So, just put on a few pounds or so forth. And she's like, okay, that's fine. But in that moment, she rested her palm on my leg and she pressed down for maybe about 10 seconds. And upon lifting up her hand, there was a complete imprint on my leg, something I would say similar to memory foam. So, upon seeing that now, she started to panic, and we decided that the following day I would go to a private doctor, which we did. And upon doing so, they ran some tests, some checks, and it turned out I was diagnosed with lupus. From there, I moved on to KPH, and I've been there ever since. And that's been, as I said, from teenage years, and I'm 29 now. So it's been with me a good chunk of my life, and that's how I found out I was diagnosed with lupus.
Remar, it must have been very shocking for you, life changing as a teenager. You are ready for the world, and undoubtedly, you didn't expect something like this. What were some of the emotions? What were some of the feelings? And did it actually change your worldview, like how you look at the world at that tender age? Remar, talk to us.
Well, to begin with, I can say the first thing that came to mind was why me? As
Hmm.
within my family, I'm the only person. The first time I ever heard about lupus is, hi, you're diagnosed with lupus. I'm like, okay. Check our entire family history. There's no mention of it. So I'm the first person within a large family group. In terms of
Wow.
emotions, it has been a complete roller coaster. And it started at the bottom. I'm talking nights of tears, nights of rejoicing when I hear that, okay, I'm bad, but not as bad as not seeing tomorrow. So it has been up and down for years. It started out horribly. I've experienced some symptoms that basically shut me in. I'd rather stay inside than to even look outside based on what I'm experiencing. And I really wondered if this was why I was created, if this is why I'm here to go through all of this. But through all of that, I overcame it and I found strength. So I would say it started out rough, but where it is right now, I am good and I'm grateful for that.
Hmm.
Thanks very much. You just heard from Raymar Lee. Uh, we're going to be taking a break roundabout now. When we come back, we should hear from Eden McCoy. Those are our two guests as we deal with Lupus Awareness Month, the male patient story. So we take a break and we come right back.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes.
Hello,
Strong man.
Jamaica! Phosphorus is having a super lighting sale. Yes, that's right, with LED emergency bulbs from $500. Come get you chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fixtures, and so much more. From October 1 to 31, shop and enjoy great deals at Phosphorus in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Or visit www.phosphorus.com/shop. What are you waiting for? Enjoy massive discounts only at Phosphorus. Open Sundays.
You know what's sweet? The new pack Sweet Living promotion. Win great prizes.
Bedroom set, living room set, kitchen appliance set, plus TVs and monthly cash prizes.
Send in 5 new pack labels. Labels must belong to at least the new pack corned beef, new pack Vienna sausages, and sauces categories.
Below the tagline, new pack, more than just value.
Place your entry in one of the drop boxes at participating outlets or enter by mail. Time to live sweet. Enter the new pack Sweet Living promotion. August 28th to November 19th. See the press for more details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Mommy, is who a ticket?
Hush, child. Me no want them see we.
But mommy, is the census takers?
Me not tell them my business.
But mommy, they need information about all the households to help make decisions about where to put things like clinics, stores, and new roads.
So?
Come, mommy. You count, me count, all our count.
Census Day is September 12th. Look out for the national census takers in your community and let them know you count.
Hello, Jamaica! Phosphorus is having a super lighting sale. Yes, that's right, with LED emergency bulbs from $500. Come get your chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fixtures, and so much more. From October 1 to 31, shop and enjoy great deals at Phosphorus in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Or visit www.phosphorus.com/shop. What are you waiting for? Enjoy massive discounts only at Phosphorus. Open Sundays.
I am a man, yes.
Welcome back to the mailbox on Love 101 FM, your family station, here every Wednesday, 5:30 p.m. And this is the program where we challenge, encourage, and empower our men to become all that they were created to become. It is sponsored by Phosphorus Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people. And I want our listeners, those who are joining us right now, thank you for joining. Those who have been with us from the beginning of the program, you'd have heard the voice of Ray Marley. He is a freelance web developer living with Lupus for the last 12 years. And we're hoping that Ethan Mccoy, electrician, Lupus patient for over 30 years, will be joining us as well. So, Courtney, what a courageous thing these gentlemen are doing, allowing us into their lives in such a transparent way. Really, really appreciate this.
Yes, thank you, gentlemen. It must take strength and courage to be here with us to express what's happening in your life. We want to also invite listeners to watch the program live on social media, Facebook and YouTube at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Men, remember you can give us a call at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. Ladies, you may comment via Facebook or YouTube or via our WhatsApp line at 876-997-3125. I believe we do have Ethan Mccoy with us now. Ethan, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey,
are you there?
Yeah, man. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Ethan. Welcome to the mailbox.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here.
How are you doing? We want to ask you a question which we didn't get to ask you. Tell us a bit about your story. When you first were diagnosed and you heard the diagnosis was lupus, give us your reactions, your emotions. What were you going through at the time? Tell us a bit about your story.
Good evening again. When I was at a workplace in Port Antonio.
Yes.
And when I came back to town, I feel some itches over behind my ear. Went to a doctor in Spanish Town and they did some checks and balances. And they said it's rashes. I said, rash? I said, okay, I got something, put it on, but it never worked. I went back to my company's doctor and he said, no, this is a skin problem. So I was sent to Dr. Fitz Henley on Whoop Road. At that stage, he said, it seems as if it is lupus. So I said to him, what is this? He said, you don't have to worry. It's nothing cancerous. So let's get to the foot of this. And he gave me some tests to be done. He took a piece of my skin and did some tests on it. Within 2 or 3 days, he called me and said, "Boy, it is lupus." I was devastated. To tell you the truth,
Yes.
what is this thing? As lupus? I started to fret. I started to lose weight, and you know, I said to my wife, "Why this thing is lupus, and I don't know what it is." So enough for worry, man. Once the doctor said enough for worry, everything is okay. When it came back, he said to me, "Boy, the test that I did showed that I also have problem with my kidneys,
Wow.
joint pain, skin problem." Mr. Father, why me at this time? So I generally when I hear all this, I get confused, you know.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's all right. But try. I'm gonna sit down, I pray to my God, and say, one day your advice said, "Don't worry." And I said, "Okay, my boss." Eventually, I started to check my family background. Nobody has lupus. I'm say,
Oh.
seriously, nobody at all. I start check around because the family is very big,
Right.
and nobody has it. I say, all right. From there, so I started to get to Dr. Johnson Whitaker down by Eureka there, so eventually she's by Tangerine Place now, and she's been treating me from 1991 until this day. And I tell you, say it's not a very easy road to travel. At times you got pain, you have pain, and you have to live on medication. And with lupus, it's SLE. It's good to catch it when it's early because generally it tends to affect various parts of your body. It's not a specific about or kidney or your liver. It can trouble all 4 or 5 parts of your body. So it can mash it down as you say, that. But once you catch it early, you can, control it to a dimension where you can live with it for a long period of time. Because right now I am in my 60s now, and from 99 until now is a very long time.
Right.
Still hanging on, doing my medication, taking my medication, doing my checks and all them things there. So it's right now I'm pretty good to where I was the last time.
Yes.
My signs and things are very good.
Yes.
So it's a pleasure to be alive at this time. Tell you the truth. I have problems, but it's all about life. In with lupus, it's good to have get a lot of rest. When you tend to overwork your body and not rest, it's a problem. So the more you rest,
Right.
and do some exercise and all them things, it's good. So I generally do my 5K. I walk 5Ks.
Oh. You seem to be doing pretty well there, Ethan. We're gonna come back and get some more of your stories. Raymar, what are the lifestyle changes? My understanding is that it cannot be cured, but you have to manage it. Is that true? And how has your life changed? Do you dress differently, eat differently? Does it affect your love life, relationship, things like that? Talk to us a little bit about that, Raymar.
Okay, on that regard, yes, in terms of lifestyle changes, that was hands down had to be done. Initially, when I was diagnosed, uh, there are a lot of things that I used to love eating, especially, for example, beef patties, red meat. I was told that I have to cut off that, no corned beef, nothing like that. So it's more heading over to a vegetable-based diet. Also, when I was first diagnosed, I had the rash, but mine was also very bad and it appeared in my face. So there's the butterfly rash, as they call it. It stems from the bridge of your nose all the way around to your eyes. So it looks like the wings of a butterfly. And for me, what really triggered it was the sun. So at one point, I was allergic to the sun. Even stepping outside, the rash just came on within minutes. And you can imagine living in Jamaica, where how we talk about is our beautiful sunshine, and I'm allergic to the sun. So I had to wear long sleeve clothes. Instead of lotion, I use sunscreen, even when I'm not going to the beach or anything like that. Even stepping out into the yard, sunscreen. So there were those changes that had to be done, dietary changes, have to get in some exercise for the joints as well. Cod liver oil, things like that, more strengthening products rather than the usual soda or snacks or so forth. So there was those instances. As for the love life, uh, I'm more of an inside person. I wasn't all that lovey per se, but now things are much better. I like to say things are much better. There is a love life. so I'm doing pretty good now. The rush has gone away, so there's no longer that I can walk outside just as normal, ride a bike or anything of the sort. The dietary measures, they're in place, but they're more relaxed for me right now. So I've been able to get back onto having a beef patty, corned beef, and so forth. Those things that were initially restricted are now once available, however, within a limited amount. So I won't dive into it headway to cause any problems for myself, but if they are now available, seeing as though I'm on my medication, things are more flattened out and so forth. So thanks to especially my doctor, Dr. Tola Reed. She has been taking care of me for years, and she has gotten me to where I am today. So, as I said, if I don't mention that I am a lupus patient, persons are around me for months and years and don't even consider it that there's anything that might be going on with me personally. But that's where I'm at now, and those are the things that have happened, some of them at least, to me in the past.
Thank you, Ray Marley. You just heard the voice of Ray Marley. Is a web developer and graphic designer, but he's also a lupus patient for the past 12 years. Dr. Tola Reed, you're getting all the big ups you can get. You know, we understand that you both, Ethan McCoy and Raymar, that you both have gone through some trying experiences. We're going to be taking a break, and when we come back, we want to hear what part did your faith play in helping you to be at this stage where you're able to speak boldly and you can encourage others. We're going to take a break and come right back after these messages.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man, integrity man. I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, I am a man.
Phosphorus is having a super lighting sale. Yes, that's right, with LED emergency bulbs from $500. Come get your chandeliers, wall lamps, ceiling fixtures, and so much more. From October 1 to 31, shop and enjoy great deals at Phosphorus in Kingston, Mandeville, and Montego Bay. Or visit www.phosphorus.com/shop. What are you waiting for? Enjoy massive discounts only at Phosphorus. Open Sundays.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counselor and psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
International gospel music ministers Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain from Maverick City take the stage live at the National Stadium alongside Kevin Downswell, Carlene Davis, Rhoda Isabella, and Rondell Positive as Kingdom Culture presents the Well Encounter, the ultimate worship experience. National Stadium, Saturday, December 10. Early bird tickets at spuropen.com/TWE22. Follow on Instagram, the Well Encounter Experience. Sponsored by Purity, Sadcore, Love 101 FM, Grace, Pepsi.
Grace, celebrating 100 years of taste that moves you. The time by Grace Foods is
6:01 in the evening here at Love 101, the family station. You're listening to the program The Mailbox, or you may be viewing us via Facebook or YouTube. I'm Courtney Morrison, your co-host, along with Kevin Bailey. And we have with us two special guests as we look on the topic Lupus Awareness Month, Living with Lupus. And this is the male patient's story. We have with us Raymar Lee, freelance web developer and graphic designer. He has been a lupus patient for the past 12 years. And we are also talking with Mr. Ethan McCoy. He's an electrician, and he has been a lupus patient for over 30 years. Gentlemen, you have both spoken so boldly, and that you are at a place where you are comfortable, I would say, with where you're at. What part did your faith play in getting you to this level? Did it or did it not? I will start with Mr. McCoy.
To tell the truth, it in a sense was good because my wife, she was good. Was good to me. My church family, they also was very good to me. Sisters, they were good to me. So basically, the family side was encouraging. Just keep doing what the doctors say you must do. That is this, Dr. Johnson Whitaker. Also, Dr. Tolerich, she's always a person who, when I'm by some meetings, she always come by and said, "Yo, McCoy, you all right?" I said, "Yes." "You do this?" I said, "Yes." It was pretty good so far.
Thank you very much, Mr. McCoy. Remar, what was your experience like? What was the support like? Who were family members in this faith walk?
Well, similar to Mr. McCoy, I would say the same, but to elaborate on that, for me, my number one person was my mother. She was there the entire time. She stood by me throughout the numerous downs, but she was also there for the ups. For my church family as well, they are something else. There were instances when I was in the hospital, not knowing what was happening on the outside, and I've been told that they would keep prayer meetings in the night on the regular services, and that goes up until I guess about 8 or 9. And when that is over, then the second prayer meeting starts, which is Raymar's prayer meeting, and they would stay back and spend the time and send me prayers, wishes, everything, texts of encouragement. When there were visitation periods, you would think that everyone that came to visit was just for me. And that was the whole church family just coming to see what is happening, encouraging me, talking to me, showing me that this is not the end. And believe me when I say it is not the end, because coming from there to here right now, if it wasn't because of my family, my church family, and my faith in God that He can bring me back here, this would not be possible. Because there are times when I literally ask, why me? Why would God do this to me of all persons? Not trying to put it on anyone else or be negative about it, but I'm, you're tempted to question the Father's decision. But here it is has lead me to share my story that I'm able to bounce back and stand proud today.
And certainly you're blessing so many who are listening and viewing, and those who will share your story as well. So really appreciate both of you coming on to share on the mailbox. Those who are listening, just want to remind you we have Raymar and Eaton, and they're sharing their challenges and their victories, their ups and downs as they go through with lupus. We have a little favorite folder here. Want us to just consider it a little, and then we come right back to your lupus journey. It says men who take their health serious. Why is this important? Starting with you, Ethan. There are some men who take their health very, very serious. Some people would say too serious. They go overboard, and now having gone through this experience and going through the experience, do you think men need to take their health serious, very serious? And why is this important? Talk to us, Ethan. Ethan, are you there?
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Can you hear us? Right.
Yeah, man. I'm here.
Right.
Um,
Tell us what. Yeah.
Generally, men are all are afraid of going to the doctor. I don't know why, but in my sense, I'm not afraid. Every little thing that I felt bothering me, I go straight to the doctor. So I'm not afraid, and I'm encouraging all men, class and race, please do all your checks regular, because you do not know what can pop up at any time in your life. Please, it's not an easy road, but do that.
Okay. Thank
Hello?
you, Ethan. Yes. Thank you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Remar, what's your response to that?
Same as I say, I can relate to Mr. McCoy so well. It's like he can practically speak for me. But I 100% agree, because as men, we neglect our health because we're supposed to be manly. So nothing should bother us, nothing should weigh us down. But at the end of the day, we're still human. So we have the same breakdowns as anybody else, or any female as well. So what applies to them can also apply to us. So it is in the same respect I said, visit the doctor. You might catch something today that could be detrimental tomorrow. But by making that visit today and just getting it over with, hoping for the best, it can be the best outcome from a bad situation, or the possibility of a bad situation. So I'm also encouraging all men from everywhere, once you're listening, once you're watching us, to do the same. Once you feel something is off and you have the capabilities to get it checked out, please do, because it can cause today and tomorrow to be a loss, or it can prolong it for as long as the Lord have you here. So I agree with Mr. McCoy 100% as well.
I want to ask a question, Remar. Thanks for sharing. Is it that men are really afraid of going to the doctor? That's the normal terminology that I hear being used. Or is it that our men still have a perspective that any form of going out and seeking for help is a sign of weakness because of what society has portrayed? Your view on that?
My view on that would be the latter. They believe it's a form of weakness. As I said before, based on history, men conquering islands, conquering here and there, it is believed that we're supposed to uphold everything and not show any form of fault, any form of weakness. So we might have a headache, rather than take a pill or visit a doctor, we say we'll sleep it off. And that might be the wrong decision. So in my perspective, I would say it is our beliefs as men that we should always be strong. There's no downtime. We should always be standing forefront and on everything. But that's actually not the case, especially these days. But that's what I believe would be the response to that.
Thank you. You know, it is important that we take our health into consideration and always recognize it is not a sign of weakness that we seek help. So we have to be convincing our men these days help is not a sign of weakness. Moses had Aaron and Hur lifting his hands and giving support. As we continue to
Certainly.
look at our men's health, and we continue to look at the topic Lupus Awareness Month, men living with lupus, we have heard that it's not necessarily a death threat. I don't know how in depth, but I read something that says there are 5 stages of lupus. You spoke to nephritis, which is that which affect the kidneys, and the rashes. Are there others that we didn't mention that you might be aware of for someone who is listening, Mr. McCoy or Raymond?
Well, I think you have touched most of them. But in my case, I have the kidney problem, and at times I have some joint and skin problem. So most of the time, if I go out, I tend to put on my sunblock. So I'm very pretty conscious of what is actually happening on the outside.
Right. Okay, similar to what Mr. McCoy just said, I'm also affected by the SLE for the kidneys. So that one is more common. There are four others. To be honest, I do not remember them. I did at one point. I was so caught up, I started to study about lupus. I know there is one in particular that affects the skin, where it's like your skin is peeling off per se. And there are
Psoriasis.
a few others as well.
Yes.
But in total, yes, there are five of them, and the SLE is one of the more common ones.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for telling us that,
Yep.
Raymar and Mr. Eaton. I have had
Question
two. Yes,
yeah,
Kev.
yeah. Want to find out from these gentlemen, were you ever depressed? Going to a dark place where it appears that you couldn't come out of it, and what really helped you? Situations like these sometimes can put people into clinical depression. Some people have suicidal ideation. And so, Ethan, were you ever into that dark place, and what helped you to overcome that?
Well, I wouldn't say that dark place, because as I said before, my family are not sense, the workplace, everybody keep praying for me, telling me what is actually best for me, do what you know that is good for you. So I'm not that, that space at any time so far.
Yes.
Everything is so far has been good.
Thank you, Mr. McCoy. What about you,
You.
Raymar? How was it for you? Any dark places? Any suicidal thoughts?
Not quite, not any suicidal thoughts, but similar to Mr. McCoy, there were people that held me up. There was an instance, however, where I heard Mr. McCoy mention the joint pains. For me in particular, by some means, I don't experience the joint pains like a lot of other lupus patients do. I've experienced it once before, and believe me when I tell you, it is hard to describe, is unmanageable. When I laid in bed, unable to move, and everything felt like it was on fire, I looked up and
Mm,
I asked Father God, why me, and if He couldn't just take me right now. That was the
mm,
pain I was feeling. I had given up in that moment and said, okay, if I should die or pass away, I'll be fine with that. That's how I
mm,
felt from that one instance. So when I say to all the other lupus patients that go through this consistently or on a daily basis, and not big up for that, because that takes strength, especially as when I say the joint pain is something else. But apart from that, I've been quite okay. I have a person that check up on me that will ensure that I'm okay mentally, physically, all different stages. I have a person where I can reach out to should I ever have any slight consideration of not doing another day of this. But those are the experiences I've had thus far. But apart from that, it's been pretty good. I've had people standing behind me, beside me, and Father God in front of me. So I'm good.
mhm.
I'm good.
Thanks very much, Ethan and Raymar, for sharing. We're going to be taking our final break before we wrap up here on the mailbox. You're listening to Kevin and Courtney. It's Love 101 FM. We will be right back after these messages.
Pretty man, I am a man. Hey man. I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man.
I've got love in my heart and I'm feeling blessed.
Are you ready for another exciting show inside Alive 1 to 5 this throwback Thursday, October 20? Well, join me, your host, Sarah, and the Chirpy One for another time to recollect and reconnect. Stick around for prayer blasts at 2 o'clock as we ring in the prayer bells of heaven. 2:15 inside Pieces of the Past, we take a look at childhood games and experiences. Then at 3 p.m., we bring you another episode of Proverbially Speaking, Sayings About Promises, Part 2. All this and more will come your way inside Alive 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. this throwback Thursday, October 20 on the family station, Love 101.
Give him praise, give him praise.
say love isn't enough to keep a couple together, but what were some of the questions you discussed prior to marriage? Overlooked the red flags? What's on your 2022 non negotiable marital list? If you need some help, we got you. So listen to the truly marvelous program To Have and to Hold this Thursday, October 20 at 5:30 p.m. for a rebroadcast feature with host Colleen Beckles and guest counseling psychologist Andre Allen Casey as they discuss no deal breakers for my marriage. That's the truly marvelous program. It happens this and every Thursday at 5:30 p.m. here on Love 101, the family station.
I am a man, I am a man, I am a man, yes. Strong man.
Welcome back to the program, The Mailbox. You're live on Love 101, the family station, the number one gospel station in the nation of Jamaica. We have with us Raymar Lee and Mr. Ethan Mccoy. We're discussing living with lupus, the male patient story. It's Lupus Awareness Month as well, here in the month of October. And we have two brave, courageous young men who one has been living with lupus for the past 12 years from his teenage years, and Mr. McCoy, who has been doing so for over 30 years. Your stories are encouraging where you're at currently, and we want you to continue to encourage someone who is listening after navigating the courses of lifestyle changes, relationship challenges, diet and nutrition. You know, there are other men who are listening. You spoke, Remar, about excruciating pain to the point where you had to ask the Lord, why you? Are there any preventative measures that you know from one who, for anyone not to contract lupus? How does one prevent? Is there any prevention that you are aware of after hearing from the doctors? What can one do and encourage someone to see how best they can prevent ending up with this autoimmune disease?
Okay, on that regard, the best way to put it would be, from my research, there's no specific way to prevent it. It is close to saying that I had won the bad luck lottery. So it's a raffle where you didn't even pay for a ticket. It just happened. Upon speaking with doctors, we've asked them what could have caused this, what is the trigger. There's no answer to that. Upon doing research myself, it is saying 1,000 things. It can be stress, it can be a diet, it can be the environment you're in, the air outside. It is just a random chance or luck per se. But on a side note, what I would encourage everyone listening to do is try to eat healthy, be healthy, do things that can prolong your lifespan as much as possible. Because really and truly, we don't know what might be lurking behind the curtain. So just trying to be as positive as possible, trying to do positive things, eat healthy and so forth, can prevent something that was trying to become an onset and you deterred without even knowing. But in terms of lupus specifically, I haven't been able to locate a reason for it or what causes it. It just happens out of the blue, as I said, based on my experience.
Thanks much for sharing, Remar. Kev, any questions you want to pose at this stage as we get ready to continue to wind down?
Yes. Ethan, any life lessons, because of what has happened to you, Ethan Remar, have you become wiser? What would you say to men, just generally, or is there a philosophical, a spiritual awakening inside of you because of what has happened? Talk to us. Any life lessons as a result of the lupus?
Well, it has shown us that you mustn't take life on a, what you call it, on a slim line. As I said, you must eat positive, do things that is positive to your body. As Raymond said, um, you don't know exactly what actually caused this lupus. It can be, as him said, anything, dietary, bad this. I mean, actually, true that as I did, as him said, he did do some research. I did some myself, and I can't think specifically. It's just that I think it was the blood cells that is the good blood cells. I think start to eat up them one another. So you have to keep on replenish that system all the while, right? So you have to just eat good. Because I stopped eat portion of red meat. I more like going on the vegetable side. Yeah, I become chicken and things, yes, but not very often, but mostly vegetable. And that keep me going. But generally, so far so good.
Okay. Thank you, Ethan. Remar. Sorry, Ethan, you're saying something?
Yeah, it's just that we just have to keep ourselves abreast of what is actually happening around us. And when you see some signs like supplement, you can tell a rash on the skin or something like that you don't know exactly how it comes about, check it out. Don't just, as I said, don't just take it lightly. It can be anything. Because when I see this rash on behind my ears, I said, nah man, this is nothing. And when I check the doctor, he might tell me, boy, that's a simple little rash. And you see it turned out to be something lupus that I didn't know what is this lupus. So please, just, implement anything you see that look out of hand, please go and check it out. It can be serious.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Ethan. Remar, your life lessons now.
For my life lessons, it would be, for one, don't not take life for granted. So just try to stay up as much as you can, because today might be wonderful and tomorrow might be not as wonderful as today was. So be grateful for all the things that are here today that are good to you, and you be good to them as well. Also, I would say life lesson is never give up. As redundant as that might sound, everybody hear that every day. It is factual, and it means a lot more when you actually go through things like these. Because there are times, even recently, when I speak with my mother, other family members, and I'm thinking back, I'm saying to myself, I remember days when I've been lying in the hospital bed for weeks on end, and I'm now at the point in life where I'm setting up to start my business soon. I'm able to actually drive a car. So I'm thinking of these moments where,
Congrats, man.
yes, thank you very much. So I'm thinking of these moments, and I say, never give up, because that is going from point zero to point 100 over a set amount of time. It seemed impossible, but really and truly it isn't. And once you have faith and you go forward, there will be light at the end of the tunnel. And that's based on my experience. So that's what I would want to say about my life lessons there is just keep pushing, keep trying. Today might be rough, but you never know what tomorrow might bring.
Thanks much, Remar. There's one final question I want to put in. Do we believe that sometimes we find ourselves with some illnesses, and when we find out, it pulls us closer to God, when we recognize how frail we can be in a life experience? I think, sometimes these things carry us closer to, in more than one ways, to God. We want to remind persons, though, that on Sunday, October 23 at 9:30 a.m., the Lupus Foundation will host its annual Lupus Symposium at the UWI Regional Headquarters in Mona. So that's October 23. That's Sunday coming at 9:30 a.m. The Lupus Foundation will host its annual Lupus Symposium at UWI Regional Headquarters in
Yes,
Mona.
and to remind our listeners too that topics to be discussed are pregnancy with lupus, men's health and lupus, and more. There will also be a panel discussion on relationships and sexuality with
Mhm.
Lupus. Physicians will also be on location. And guess what? Admission is free. Free,
Right.
free, free. This is your invitation on Sunday, October 23rd at 9:30 a.m. at the Symposium, University of the West Indies Regional HQ in Mona. Right.
We have a couple of comments
Right.
from our social media persons. Aaron Denden says, yes, some men neglect their health. I lost a brother-in-law to cancer because of stubbornness. Being nurse, I saw the signs, but he ignored me. Very sad.
Wow. Sorry to hear about that. What we're
Yes.
almost out of time. I wonder if there just a last sentence or so from Ethan and Remar. Ethan, any last word? Just
Uh,
few.
Not really, but as I said before, gentlemen, please, any sign of anything, any trauma, anything at all, please get checked out. As a guy said a while ago, he lost a friend because he was stubborn just to do some checks. Right? And even at this stage, I am diagnosed with, I have lupus, and I was also diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Wow.
Right? I am,
Sorry to
and
hear.
right now I am
Wow.
looking forward to surgery sometime, I think maybe next month, something like that. So you see, it is, I don't sit down, I do my checks. And when I do my checks, I do what I supposed to do to get things done. So gentlemen, please do your checks and balances.
Thanks very much, Mr. McCoy. Any last word from you? 10 seconds, Sir Remar?
I also agree with Mr. McCoy in terms of getting those checks done. If it is a case where the men out there don't feel comfortable, maybe what their brethren might think or say, find someone to speak with and get it done behind the scenes per se. So not everyone needs to know what you're doing when you're doing it, but get those checks done because they're quite relevant to our daily health.
Good way to end.
Wow.
Support is vital. Support is vital. Let's continue to support each other, uplift and encourage and empower. We want to say thanks. So we're saying thanks to uh, Tony K. Bromfield, our producer, technical engineer Tamoy Butler for technical support, Remar Lee, freelance web developer and graphic designer, Lupus patient 12 years, and Ethan McCoy, electrician, Lupus patient over 30 years. Listeners, viewers, participants, all, thank you for being with us on YouTube, on Facebook. And remember, previous episodes are available for viewing and note taking at Love 101 FM Jamaica. Kev.
Right. So this was the mailbox, and it was sponsored by Fosrich Company Limited, your electrical, solar, and lighting people. Brought to you by Love 101 FM, the family station. So
Next
great
week,
to have you. Thanks
Monday.
again. Yeah, Monday.
Yes. Strong man. Integrity man. I am a man.